We are now 6 of 8 episodes into Arknights Prelude to Dawn, and I have to say at this point, I will no longer be covering this show or watching it because we're not getting any more Cat Girl and Medic, and I really, really hate it. No, but jokes aside, really solid episode. Once again, I'm going to say I'm a little bit let down by how little animation in the action scenes that we're getting. It really does feel like I'm missing something happening. Like there should be more connections and hits happening and it's just not there. But again, like I said last time, the directing is still phenomenal. It still looks absolutely fantastic and I'm still loving the characters and everything else that's happening. So don't get me wrong. I still love this series. I'm very much so surprised by how much I love this series. But no, this episode really... a lot to see that Chin is indeed a Tsundere. Yes, Chin is just massive Tsundere. She doesn't want to admit that she likes Amiya and likes what Amiya's doing. Finally, after Ishigumi comes up, we get the reveal that yes, Chin indeed likes Amiya, or at least praises her skills. Obviously sees that Amiya is a good leader. No, I like the fact that every time a shielder shows up in this show, they always have like the most best entrances. Like when Nero first showed up, amazing entrance. And then yes, Hoshi shows up, great entrance. Character moments in this episode, despite it just kind of being more about them escaping and then yes, Misha being taken away, was really good. Interesting opening though. We open up with Clown Slayer showing up to Talala, and Talala is outside of Lungmen. And Clown Slayer says, everything's set, we're ready to go, and I'm curious, why are you so obsessed with Lungmen? Why Lungmen? The cost is too high. Everything's prepared, but the cost is going to be really high to take Lungmen. Yes, it's going to be beneficial to Reunion, but why? Why Lungmen? And Talala points at one of the towers. Says, you see that tower? We came here to take back from them what they took from us, and then we'll make them pay. And then for some reason, says, right, Talala? Like, what? Like there's two Talalas? Or is this a fake Talala? Or... does she have like a split personality or something? Now, I guess it could have been Clown Slayer saying that, but it wouldn't make sense that Clown Slayer would then say, right, Talala? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It sounded like Talala's voice. So it's implying that there's either two Talalas or it's a split personality or this is a fake clone or something. But yes, this whole scene is emphasizing the idea that Lungmen or people in general have taken so much from the Reunion and the infected, and this is their chance to retake it. And Lungmen is a primary target for that, probably to be able to get more people to follow them. There's a lot of population there, but additionally a lot of resources. And again, we've kind of seen that Lungmen looks very advanced compared to any other, well, at least Chernobog anyways, but it seems a little more advanced to Chernobog. So it seems like there's resources there and yes, people that they can utilize. And yes, seemingly a lot of displaced people that don't necessarily like the Lungmen in general. I mean, Chin even admits herself, Lungmen does not acknowledge those from the slums or those that are infected as civilians. But yeah, then we cut to Amiya and team being late once again. Chin doesn't like that she's always late. She's like, well, the reunion got in the way. I don't want excuses. Well, that's not an excuse. I'm just saying the reunion's everywhere. Like, there's a lot of reunion here. You need to address that. But yes, she does hand over Misha over to Chin and her people. And a lot of emphasis here that Amiya has to choose to pretty much allow herself to trust them. She has no choice otherwise. But it seems like Chin is being at least open to the idea that, yes, we will take care of her. And yes, I will fulfill your request in that you want her transferred over to Rose Island to take care of her. But it doesn't just stop there, because as we see Misha being transported by Chin and somebody else, Misha points out that the children always mention that they are protected and taken care of by the Dragon Lady. And Misha says, you're the Dragon Lady, aren't you? And Chin doesn't really deny this, so Misha says, please continue to help them. Please always continue to take care of them. To which, yes, like I said earlier, Chin says, Lungmen doesn't recognize those people, but I will always do my job. Now, it's one of those kind of very vague statements there. I'm assuming what she means by that is that technically, yes, her role as a part of this guard is to protect the people. Whether the Lungmen itself wants to recognize them as citizens or not, they're still people of this area. And it's as if she wants to, despite the fact that this is her job, this is her goal, this is what the society and the government itself says she needs to do, it's all the same to her. She will protect everybody. Despite the fact that for this entire time, especially our first meeting of her, it seemed like she was this mean person. If you're not in here, if you're not a civilian, we don't want you here. We have our own people to take care of. She even told Amiya, we have no choice. We can't let those people in here because our role is to protect our people, There's no reason like we would want to bring in more people to put them at risk. Yes, they would want to save everybody, but they can't. So again, this whole episode is just, hey, by the way, Chin is Tsundere. She doesn't want to openly admit that, yes, she does have a heart in there. She does have a heart somewhere in there. Really change. Now, I kind of assumed this was the case with Chin, but it really did change my perspective of her as a character. This episode really did sell me on her. But no, the other part of this conversation between Chin and Misha was to establish, who is Misha? Why are they obsessed with her? She's like, I know I'm infected, but why are you after me? Like, what is so important about me? And through this conversation and a later conversation that Chin has with Amiya after she presses her on it, we come to find out that Misha is in fact the daughter of a very renowned scientist and political figure that was in Chernobog. And while at first Chin's kind of mentioned the idea that we just don't want you to get in contact with the reunion, we don't want the reunion to have you, yes, it's more clarified in the idea that Misha might have some sort of information about her father. Her father had all this information, possibly stuff around the political sphere itself, maybe world leaders, and possibly something scientific that is important Misha might know about. And that's what Chin said. No matter if she knows very little, nothing at all, or everything, we need to have her and not reunion. But yes, despite Amiya and her team trying to distract, eventually W finds Chin and just grenades everywhere. They ambush all the trucks. They end up coming in there and taking Misha away, and that seems to make it personal for Chin. But this is cool because on the side of Amiya during this whole big skirmish, we've seen a side of her that we haven't quite seen yet. There was actually 2 scenes in this episode that really defined Amiya's character. It's always nice to see, yes, Amiya is super sweet. She's super pure. You want to just hug her. You want her to be happy. You want her to always smile. She's very caring. But I think we've seen Amiya bear fangs in this episode 2 times. The first time was when she and her team faced off against Skull Shatter. Skull was complaining, you're the infected and you're helping Lungmen. You will pay for the lives with your blood. And Amiya didn't respond saying, oh, please, let's not fight or anything. No, Amiya was like, the reunion was the first to hate. The reunion was the first to hurt people, to take the lives of the innocent, the first to throw a stone. And everything that happened in Chernobog was your fault. Like, Amiya was mad. Like I said, never really seen that in her before. Like, she wasn't being nice. She wasn't being neutral. She wasn't trying to create peace in that scenario. She's like, no, you're the wrong ones. Again, we've always kind of got this perspective that they're trying to be sympathetic to the issues that the reunion's having. But this case, she wasn't. And yes, that was equally in the moment that she confronts Chin. What is so special about Misha? And Chin's like, that's none of your concern. She's like, yes, it is. We have a contract. We're supposed to be working together, and we can't work together unless we trust each other. So if you want us to be on the same page, tell me what's so special about Misha. Yeah. Super good scenes with Amiya this episode. And yes, after we get an introduction of Hoshiguma, that's when they kind of lay out their current plans going forward, and the idea that Penguin's already been sent out to try to find Misha. Rose Island will work with Chin in order to find Misha as well. And that's where Hoshi says, yes, so you are the leader of the Rose Island. Now I see why Chin has such high praises for you. And they're like, wait, what? What? It was super cute. It was super cute. Seeing Chin, like, well, whatever, let's go. But no, Hoshiguma's first introduction was really cool. Like I said, Neural's introduction was amazing. Her showing up was amazing. And I like it because you could totally tell Hoshiguma works for Chin. Because what happens when Hoshiguma first shows up? They've been tied up the whole time. The whole reason that, Chin got attacked was because their team wasn't there to defend them. They were being held up by one single unit, which ended up being Talala. And so when Hoshi finally shows up and they're in the middle of a fight, she shows up and she says, you're late. You're finally here. And she's like, yes, sorry, ma'am. All right, let's do this. All right, let's go. Like, there's no excuses or anything. Like, similar whenever Amiya shows up late, she gives these excuses, which aren't really excuses, but Hoshi doesn't. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing W again. Like I mentioned before, Kirino voice, the little sister voice, she's always good. And additionally, what was a kick this entire episode was Franca. It seemed like every scene, Franca was seeing a new side of the Munster Inspector. Oh, she has a tough side. Oh, she's an honest gal. But yeah, interesting episode. Again, I'll be curious to see what Talada's after. I'm assuming the big tower where their boss is at. Wei. Maybe Wei wronged her in some way. Or again, maybe Talada's other side is in there, or the actual Talada's in there. We'll see. That's all like a big, huge, weird question mark. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 6 of Arknights Prelude to Dawn. Again, we only have 2 more episodes, so I hope you guys will join me for those last 2 episodes. Again, I'm really hoping that we'll get another season announcement, unless I've missed it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what you thought of this episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, a super thanks button down below, as well as a membership button down there. Greatly appreciate everybody that supports the channel, and y'all take care.